welcome the president of Cottey College, Dr. Jann Weitzel.
Good morning. Weren't those stories remarkable? I am Jann Weitzel. I'm the president of Cottey College. I am a very proud 26-year member of the P.E.O. Sisterhood. And as is tradition in P.E.O., I bring you greetings from Cottey College and from my own chapter, Chapter ND in Nevada, Missouri. This year, in October, marks the 90th anniversary of the partnership between Cottey College and the P.E.O. Sisterhood to educate women. We together are Cottey College. Virginia Alice Cottey founded her college in 1884 with the goal of providing a quality education to women. Alice led her school for almost 40 years until in her 70s, she knew that she needed to find a permanent home for her life's work. Now, just a few months earlier, she had become a member of Chapter DW of P.E.O. in Nevada, Missouri. After attending meetings and learning all about the commitment that P.E.O. makes to the education of women, she is quoted as saying that it came almost like a revelation to her that this is where Cottey College belonged. For she believed that with members across the United States and Canada, Cottey's reach would be unlimited. Alice proposed the gift of Cottey College at the 1927 meeting of Supreme Chapter. She stood before the assembly. She told the story of Cottey, for she knew that she had to leave her college in good hands, in women's hands. Hands that could be counted on when the education of women was at stake. The vote was taken, the die was cast, and Cottey became the property of the P.E.O. Sisterhood. Thus launched a 90-year relationship between a women's organization and a women's college, both of which understand that associations made up of women are important to women, and that also understand the power and the promise of a community of women believing in, respecting, and caring for, and supporting one another. 90 years, 2 organizations. One, a philanthropic organization that has the goal of providing education to women. The other, an independent liberal arts and sciences institution. 2 amazing institutions with one core mission, women's education. Now just consider for a moment the stated purpose of P.E.O. to celebrate the advancement of women, to educate women through scholarships, grants, and awards, and to motivate women to achieve their highest aspirations. At Cottey, we hold the exact same goals: to educate, to celebrate, to advance, and to motivate women. Just as P.E.O. encourages women from all across the globe to earn a degree and open new doors to their future, Cottey, too, encourages women from over 35 states and 20 countries every year. Women of all ages, women who start at Cottey or women who transfer in, women who live in our residence hall or commute, all to be part of the Cottey College experience, to earn a degree that will truly change her life. Further, Cottey and P.E.O. are both about developing bonds of friendship and sisterhood that truly span the years. P.E.O. encourages the forming of relationships, women working side by side or across great distances to make sure that women of all ages can afford a college education. A P.E.O., all of us, understand that wherever she is, in the United States, Canada, or across the globe, her sisters are simply a phone call, a text, an email, a Skype away, and help and advice is there for us. At Cottey, these bonds are created by learning and living in an environment that is supportive and collaborative. Every year, Cottey College celebrates Founders, and Founders is a time to have all of the alumni come back and reconnect. At last year's Founders, I talked to a group of women who had not been together for 45 years. I asked them what it was like, and without missing a beat, they said it was like they just saw each other yesterday. The only difference was they couldn't stay up quite as late. The friendships and the networks that students create at Cottey, just like the friendships and networks created through P.E.O., are lifelong. Cottey and P.E.O. are both about inspiring women to be their best. At Cottey, we encourage women to carve out the life that they desire, to learn, to study, to experience in an environment of support, to learn that it is okay to try and perhaps not succeed the first time, but the importance of getting up and trying again. To all of my P.E.O. sisters in the room, do those words, leading, supporting, encouraging, sound familiar? Well, of course they do. They are the terms that describe our sisterhood. Cottey students, and subsequently our Cottey alums, experience true sisterhood, that deep bond of eternal love and respect, solidarity and support, the symbolic forming of a chain of women with their arms, their hearts, and their minds linked. This ribbon of women is also true within our P.E.O. sisterhood. Think for a moment of all of the P.E.O. groups on Facebook, where sisters from the United States and Canada, as well as beyond the borders of North America, reach out for advice, ideas, and support. This type of network is strong at Cottey College. Women sharing current news about their college or reminiscing about life in the suites or education in the classrooms, and seeking support and getting answers to their questions. Consider this quote by John Quincy Adams. "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, or become more, you are a leader." Now, as Julie mentioned just a few moments ago, over the last few years, P.E.O. has introduced its Leadership Development Initiative with the objective of helping members support the long-range goals of the sisterhood by offering opportunities and by offering workshops and conventions. Our sisterhood has a strong model for supporting leadership. At Cottey, leadership is one of the threads on which our college exists. At Cottey, we believe that leadership is a set of skills that can be researched, studied, learned, and practiced. And just as is true in P.E.O., all student leaders at Cottey are women. Leadership in the classroom, leadership in the suites, leadership on the court or in the field. P.E.O. and Cottey, two organizations that both believe in and foster leadership for women. P.E.O. and Cottey, two groups that began independent of one another, but came together because of a strong foundation built on similar values. Together, our central goal is the same. At our very core, we promote the education of women because the education of women is important. Together, we change the world by educating one woman at a time. We, together, are Cottey. Now, I'll ask you to think back to the video and reflect on the stories that you heard. As was shared by our current students, our alumni, and the P.E.O. sisters, Cottey prepares students for life. Cottey is about more than just getting an education. It is an experience that creates the person that the woman is meant to be. Cottey gives a student the opportunity to grow academically, to learn and practice leadership, to gain independence, to find her voice, and perhaps even more importantly, to learn to never allow her voice to be silenced, for her voice is important. So let's just consider the experience that students have at Cottey. Now, I know that many of you have visited our campus. Things may have changed. Let me share today's Cottey. At Cottey, students study in classes averaging 13. Folks, you can't hide in a class of 13. Every student has the opportunity and may I simply say the responsibility to take an active role in classroom work and to have their professors know their names and call them by name. Students experience a 10-to-1 student-faculty ratio, meaning that they receive individualized advising and teaching developed based on their individualized learning styles. Students have the opportunity to learn from a truly amazing faculty, men and women from around the world. At Cottey, 25% of our professors come from outside the United States, and over 90% of our faculty have terminal degrees, meaning they have the highest degree possible in their area, in most cases a PhD. And it should be recognized that our freshmen study with those professors, not with graduate students, not with part-time professors. They have doctorally qualified professors from their first day on campus. Students also interact with an amazing staff, and together the staff and the faculty are men and women who have dedicated their careers to the education of young women because they know that the education of women is important. Now, students have the opportunity to participate in over 40 clubs and organizations, thereby putting those leadership skills I mentioned earlier into practice. I should note here that Cottey was recognized by the U.S. News and World Report last spring as a campus where top campus where joining a club is easy, which says that we do an excellent job of getting our students engaged with the campus, which makes them happier and perhaps has a little less, they might have a little less homesickness. Now, students can choose from any of our baccalaureate degrees, Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts degrees. They can add minors, they can add certificates, or they can study any of our associate degrees. Today, and this is an important number, friends, today almost 3/4 of our students are enrolled in a baccalaureate program. Thus, they are enrolling at and staying at Cottey for a full 4 years. The most popular or the most highly enrolled baccalaureate programs, first is a Bachelor of Science in Health Sciences, and then Bachelor of Arts degrees in English, Psychology, and Business. 4 new degrees were just started last month. They include Criminology, Organizational Leadership, Secondary Education, and Women's Studies. And in January, we will roll out our new Bachelor of Science in Biology degree. I have to stop and note for a moment, though, that these big steps are due to the support and stewardship of our previous administrators at Cottey and an amazing board of trustees. So to all of those people who came before and are there now, I have a great big thank you. Now, students who are interested in the arts are invited to audition for vocal and instrumental groups, our dance troupes, or our theater productions, even if those are not their majors. Further, students can take music lessons without any additional charge to them, something that is absolutely unheard of anywhere else. Our theater production of The Moors advanced to the Regional American College Theater Festival. 14 of our students traveled to Des Moines, Iowa, and they participated in week-long workshops, expositions, and scholarship auditions. And they came home, if you remember something that Melanie said the other night, they came home with the Golden Hand Truck Award for the most smooth move in and move out of the set. And it's the first time in the history of that organization that it was ever awarded to an all-women's school. If a student at, thank you. If a student at Cottey is interested in intercollegiate athletics, she can try out for our basketball, volleyball, softball, tennis, golf, cross country, or track teams. Just last spring, Coach Scapin led the Cottey College softball team to the Region 16 championship, the first time to win that championship in Cottey's history. And one of our runners, Buki, an international student from Africa, finished 6th in the national finals in cross country, becoming our first cross country runner at Cottey to be recognized as an All-American. And note, the athletes at Cottey are scholar athletes, with an emphasis on the word scholar. We were just notified that softball, volleyball, and cross-country teams were named to honorable mention academic teams for cumulative GPAs of over 3.0. Many students entering college today want to continue their service to the community or begin giving back. At Cottey, our students completed over 23,000 hours of community service over the past 2 years, leading in part to Cottey's placement on the President's Higher Education Community Service Award with distinction. Hannah, a student from Maryland, traveled to Washington, D.C. to accept this award on Cottey's behalf. Now, also important to students today entering college is the opportunity to study abroad. At Cottey, our students are truly citizens of the world. Not only do they share learning and living spaces with students from across the United States and Canada, as well as from across the world, and study with international professors, all qualified sophomore-level students can travel to a European city during spring break with lodging, flight, and in-country travel paid for by the college. Now, I want to note here that that is not paid through their tuition. It is not a fee. It is not a hidden fee. Our Board of Trustees believes in the importance of international travel for all sophomores at Cottey, and they fund it. This year, our students will be traveling to London, or Sri Lanka in India, or Japan. Further, many of our students like to spend a semester abroad, and we have relationships with schools in Hong Kong and England and South Korea, or they may choose other countries where they'd like to study. Sarah, a student from Colorado, spent the spring semester as part of the Semester at Sea program, where she visited 12 countries and stepped foot on 4 continents. Internships, also important to today's current generation of college students. Our students can complete internships right in Nevada, or they can travel across the globe. Last year, a young woman by the name of Peace completed an internship in Sri Lanka, and Belinda completed an internship in Ghana. And in recent years, our students have studied and worked in a variety of places, including Colorado and Texas, and Zimbabwe and Guatemala. Our students have the opportunity to get hands-on and take an active role in their classes. As Melanie mentioned the other day, as a freshman, she was able to start doing research in her science classes right next to her professors and not just simply watch somebody else conduct that research. This summer, 2 of our students, Whitley and Michaela, completed a 4-week research program under the supervision of one of our chemistry professors. They investigated the behavior of trinucleotide repeats, which are the underlying cause of a host of neurological disorders. In addition, 10 of our students traveled to Midwest Model UN conference in St. Louis, where they worked from early in the morning until late at night, playing the roles of delegates from Peru. And Tiara, a student from Alabama, was awarded a critical language scholarship for studying Indonesian in Indonesia. And we need to recognize that the acceptance rate for this national competition is only 10%. So we are extremely proud of Tiara. So who are our students? Our students are the girls next door or the women from across the world. The average GPA for our high school students coming to Cottey is 3.46. We believe in the importance of a rigorous curriculum in order to prepare our students for the next step in their lives, whether it's graduate school or the job market. Our students are diverse. Our campus is inclusive. 25% of our students are minority students and 14% are international students. We are extremely fortunate to have a strong partner in the education of our young women in the community of Nevada, Missouri. Cottey is located in a safe community, one that welcomes the students, the faculty, the staff, and all of the families to their businesses, to their churches, and to their nonprofit organizations. And of course, important to families is the cost of attending a college and the financial health of the institution. As has been mentioned, we work to keep Cottey College affordable. 98% of our students receive financial assistance in some form. 7 out of 10 receive an academic scholarship. 26% receive a P.E.O. scholarship, and 14% receive other external scholarships. And yes, Cottey is in an enviable financial situation. Yes, we have no debt. Yes, we have a balanced budget every year. And yes, we do have a comfortable endowment. Now, while the majority of our operating budget comes from tuition and fees, which is normal for independent institutions, almost 6% of that operating budget comes from the dues that you and I pay as members of P.E.O. And for that 6%, I say thank you. It is not important, it's important for the president of the college to be proud, but it is equally important to a college to be able to be recognized by outside organizations. We are fully accredited as a baccalaureate granting institution by the Higher Learning Commission, the organization that accredits colleges in our area. We are also fully accredited by the National Association of Schools of Music. And as I shared in the last time I spoke with you a couple of days ago, according to the U.S. News and World Report, we ranked number 7 out of 78 institutions in 12 states as a 2018 Best Regional Value, placing us in the top 9%. We ranked number 2 for a Best Value School, number 2 for the lowest student debt at the time of graduation, and number 3 for the schools with the highest proportion of international students. I encourage you, if you haven't stopped by the Cottey room, to do so. You'll receive an update to the biennial report that the delegates found in their package. I also invite you back to the Cottey room, if you haven't been there today, to see the completed mural. It is absolutely beautiful. Those pictures that you stuck on the wall made a picture, so stop by and take a look. Yes, Cottey is amazing. It truly is, and it is your institution. Please stop by to see our beautiful 80 acres, our remarkable educational facilities, to speak with our students. Please know that we'd love to have you or your chapter come for a visit. And finally, to everyone in the room, to the P.E.Os, to any BILs, to our alumni, to our friends, Cottey says thank you. Thank you for talking about Cottey with your social circle and with your family. Thank you for visiting our campus. And thank you for believing in the importance of women's education.